Is the Baylor administration trying to erase their football history? This is Locked On Baylor.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Locked On Baylor, presented by LinkedIn Solutions. Thank you so much for making it your first listen today and every day. I'm Cam Stewart, your host, and I am here with a very special guest, the one, the only, I know him as the streets remember, Mr. Jay Lee, former Baylor wide receiver from 2011 to 2015, and an absolute stud on some of those best offenses in the nation. Jay, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm grateful to be on the show, man. I'm glad you reached out, asked for this opportunity. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm really grateful to have you. I was saying to you off the air, I remember we overlapped for a year, and just getting into Baylor and seeing those great Briles offenses, obviously. Jay Lee, man, he could play. He could play. If for those young kids who are in the stands now, look him up on YouTube. The guy could ball. And so we're talking today about some of those great years, man, and specifically that 2013 season. Now, that's the first Big 12 championship in Baylor's history. Number one offense in the nation, just a top five team all the way through. Well, once you got into the top five, didn't come out of the top five. And so, truly one of the great teams in Baylor history, and truly setting the standard for that era. And yet the news this week hasn't been about, necessarily how you guys are getting honored for the 10th anniversary and taking on UT this weekend. That was obviously the Big 12 championship game de facto that year. But rather that you guys aren't getting honored. And I know Mac Rhodes has said something about trying to get something together later in the season, but what was your initial thoughts when this was first brought up that, hey, they're doing nothing to honor us, which is one of the great teams in Baylor history?
Well, I kind of, follow the team. I still follow them, up and down years, the past 2 years. But I think the one thing that stood out to me was a comment about, the jersey colors and stuff. And then it was brought to my attention, which I finally realized is that it's been 10 years since we won the Big 12 championship, and, all the sacrifice and, the man hours that we put in and all the hard work and dedication. I see other teammates chiming in, like, why haven't we been reached out to, even with the B Association, the Baylor B Association? Why haven't anybody reached out to us and, talked about bringing us back to honor us? Which I think we should be honored, because that's when we actually brought the team back to prominence, while Coach Briles was there, and that was the year we had we went to the Fiesta Bowl. That was one of the New Year's Six games. Like, we should be honored for doing that type of stuff and bringing so much attention to Baylor.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit more about that. I should have opened with this. It's just, we talk about how revolutionary that team was in terms of the championship and bringing that to Baylor. So where does this 2013 team stand in the history of Baylor football?
I would have to say that's probably one of the best teams that we had put together, if you go back, we started off with the Texas Bowl. Well, the Texas Bowl. I wasn't there, but it was Texas Bowl. Then it was Alamo when I got there.
Yep.
And then we went to the Holiday. Yep. Then we went to Holiday Bowl, Fiesta Bowl. So like,
it's just that natural progression.
Yeah, we progressed, but that was one of the top games that we played in. And we went on a streak. And then we lost to Oklahoma State, and then we won, against TCU there, and then we beat Texas at home to close out the Floyd Casey. I mean, what better record could you want to put out there?
Honestly, and yet here we are, and they're, this is the first chance at a real anniversary to honor you guys, and so that brings up the question for me of, do you think, from your standpoint as someone who played on those teams, that they're just trying to erase that whole era? We obviously know what happens off the field, but tremendous accomplishments on the field, and so many guys, the overwhelming majority of the guys, who had nothing to do with the scandal.
Well, I think it starts off from the whole rebranding thing. They wanted to change courses on how the uniforms came about, how the logos are presented, and everything from the field. the whole nine. So I mean, I get what they're how they're trying to get away from the whole thing, but at the same time, you have to honor the people that actually did something for the university, and I think we did more than enough for the university.
Yeah, and with that, I mean, you still keep the numbers up there. It still says 2013 Big 12 champions, and yet here we are talking about it like we're saying Voldemort, just to talk about all the great things that you guys did. I mean, how does that make you feel?
It's kind of upsetting, man. Like I said, I go on Twitter and I see, not just me, but I see other teammates, talking
Yeah,
about when are we, is somebody gonna reach out to us and let us know about something. I mean, it doesn't have to be this game. It could be, throughout the year. But like,
sure.
what does the past have to do with honoring us now? It's been 10 years. A bunch of the players still go to the games,
Yeah.
tailgate. They do the whole 9 yards because we didn't get that opportunity to do it. We didn't get to run the Baylor line. I know Levi had mentioned that they should maybe bring us in and have us run the Baylor line and everything like that. Let's get the full experience, because
Yeah.
all we did was go to do the beer walk, go to the locker room, play football, and leave. You know.
Yeah, and two, I mean, you brought up a point there that guys are still going to the games, and so for you personally, with what's happened after you left, and with the rebranding and trying to get away from those teams that you worked so hard for, are you still a Baylor fan? Is it weird to root for Baylor these days?
No, it's not weird to root for Baylor, man. I'm
Okay,
Baylor to the core, and that's where I went to school at. They gave me an opportunity, and I'm forever grateful for it. So I'm still rooting for every week. I'm still rooting, man. I'm still rooting. I haven't my roots haven't left yet.
I love to hear that. I love to hear that. So I guess that goes without saying, but if you guys did get the invite tomorrow, would you be down there?
I would have to try to make something work, but I mean,
Just in general, just in general. If
yeah,
they
yeah,
called
yeah.
you, you'd
Just
say
in
yeah.
general, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I just think we should have had they should have had something planned out before the season started, so we had enough time to plan it. For the people that actually can't make it and who can make it.
Yeah, and so do you think, I mean, in your heart of hearts, we've heard rumors about it. Do you think what's happened so far that there is going to be a day sometime this season that y'all might be
Uh,
invited back?
I know somebody had said something about AD the AD mentioning it, bringing it up maybe down the road, but to me, I don't think any legal matters that happened back then should affect honoring a team. That I think it's an excuse, to be honest.
Yeah, and do you think that's the biggest part of it, of just, hey, we're trying to distance ourselves completely, even for the Jay Lees and the Jamal Palmers and the Levi
Right, right.
Norwoods?
I mean, at the end of the day, not everybody participated in what happened.
Not
You
even
know,
close. Yeah,
so yeah, so then what you're doing is you're punishing us for what happened. But I mean, we all were there. We all played. We should be honored. It shouldn't even be any other school would honor it.
sure.
So why not us?
Yeah, and definitely some great memories there. We're gonna get to that a little bit later in the show, specifically about that Ice Bowl game and
Oh
closing out the
yeah,
case.
yeah, man, that was a freezing cold game.
It was
Oh,
crazy. One of the greats
it
of Baylor
was.
history. But first, Jay, I got to talk to you about LinkedIn Talent Solutions. They're our main
Uh-huh.
sponsor today. And look, when you're looking for jobs, or if this continues to happen, and people in the administration need to look for jobs, they're gonna have to look at LinkedIn Talent Solutions. That's the number one way. It's how I got this job, so I'm a little biased. I think it's the best way to do it. So LinkedIn Jobs, it helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Fast, 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 just the way that old Briles offense used to play. So post
Oh
your job for free at linkedin.com/locked on college. That's linkedin.com/locked on college to post your job for free. Terms and conditions do apply. Now, Jay, you had talked about in the beginning about, this kind of came up with the talks of a blackout and doing all that at the stadium. So I want to take you back to 2013,
yeah. Uh-huh.
Oklahoma, Thursday night, first real official blackout. I've heard so many things about this game and this atmosphere and what the case was like. I want to hear it from your perspective. What was that night like?
That night was epic. It was crazy, man. It was crazy. And we already knew going in, it was gonna be a blackout, so it was only right for us to put on the black jerseys. And that's when we felt like we were the greatest in those jerseys, man.
Yeah, so it kind of goes. I have it as the question of the segment up here. What does that do for you guys as players? Obviously, having an atmosphere is great, but the blackout, the black jerseys, top 10 matchup. What does that do for you guys on the field?
I mean, you heard it from Dion best. You look good, you play good, they pay good. So at the end of the day, when we put those black jerseys on, it brought out the best of us. Like we already knew it was gonna come out. The swaggiest team in the country. We had a lineup of jerseys that probably other teams couldn't match. Top 10 matchup. We already knew it was at stake, and if I remember right, College Game Day was there.
Yeah, it was Fox Sports was there. It was a huge deal. It
Oh
was the
yeah,
national game.
yeah,
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 Gus
yeah. So
Johnson.
all that stuff there, it brings out the best of you, confidence out the roof, and you
Yeah.
just want to get out there. You want to go and compete for your guys and for the school.
And it was an awesome lineup of uniforms, by the way. I mean, you guys were great teams too, so that helped. But
Oh
from
yeah,
a recruiting standpoint, so you were there a little bit before. You had those, we call them the RG3, the Heisman jerseys before.
right.
But when you see guys coming into the program, is that actually a recruiting point to roll out these chrome helmets and these awesome uniforms? Does that actually
It
get guys
definitely
involved?
is. It's an attention grabber. You gotta have those posted up on the mannequins when they're walking through the facilities. Touring the facilities, and thinking about coming to our school. So you have to roll them out. You have to let them see them, get in the jersey, take pictures, do whatever.
Yeah, and kind of just where you're at now. When was the last time you went to a game at McLean?
I think it was 2 years ago when we beat Oklahoma.
Okay, that's a good
I
one.
think
That's a good one
Gary
to go
Gary
to.
was the quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah,
And so based off that was a good atmosphere that day. But just in
it
general,
was.
there's been just skepticism of the atmosphere. It just hasn't been great at the games, and whether that's based on the product on the field or based on
Right.
whomever. And so it's been kind of thrown around. And so I was telling people, in my day, at the end of your time at Baylor, even when we weren't that great, when that fall came, it was great atmospheres. And so
Right.
did you see a noticeable difference even when we had a great team in 2021 when you last went, that it just didn't have the juice that it used to, or was it kind of the same?
Well, I think it all starts with what you're putting out on the field and how you produce. And when I was there, we had the high flying paced offense. Big 12 is really not known for having defense, but as long as you can put up enough points to beat the other team, you got a fighting chance. So, and that's what the fans like to see. We're scoring in 6 to 8 seconds. I mean, who else is out there doing that? And now the game is slowed down and they're under center more. We rarely got under center, doing big play action plays, three tight end sets, all that stuff. So I don't think the fans are quite adjusted to that yet.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there are definitely people that we see and hear from who just expect that to happen. They expect Bryce Petty and you and Goodley to just walk through that door, and Coleman and
Yeah,
Cannon and all those guys, and start putting up 60 points a game. And I think
exactly.
I think you're right in that. I mean, we had that in like 2016, 17, like right after the Briles days. We're just like,
Yeah,
what's happening? But it's not that way anymore. And as you saw in 2021, you can win without it, but it does. It starts with the product on the field to get that place hyped, and you guys certainly had it. And
oh yeah,
what I was, you got to play 1 year at McLean, and obviously beautiful facility and all that. And we'll talk about the last game at the Case a little bit later. But in general, for these kids who have it good and could just walk to McLean, what was that like, seeing the crowds get bigger and the juice starting to build those last couple of years you were at Floyd Casey?
well, you gotta, yeah, exactly. You gotta go back to Floyd Casey and think about the number of fans that were able to sit in the stands then. And then you got to go to McLean, and you're like, oh well, we have more fans in the stands, getting loud, getting rowdy, getting us hype pumped up. So like, you always wanted to go out there and put on a show, and then you stand out on the field and just stargaze, and be like, dang, it's really this many people here,
Yeah.
and like you can only imagine what other players go through like at the big house in Michigan. They got 100,000 plus.
Yeah. And was there one that you preferred over the other, McLean or Floyd Casey?
McLean all the way. Floyd
Love to
Casey
hear
got his
that.
got his history, but man, it's McLean. Yeah,
It's
I'm taking
beautiful,
it
man.
around.
It
It's
really
so
is.
beautiful.
And in terms of, going back to the teams you played on and kind of the fallout after you leave, obviously nothing to do with it, but after you leave, kind of it all the bottom falls out of it. And so what I'm wondering for you and for your teammates from that time, do you still keep up with the coaching staff and with the guys that were around the program? Are y'all still tight?
Yeah, I keep up with a lot of the guys that I play with. We talk here and there. I understand everybody has a busy schedule. Everybody's working, has family. So that always comes first. But we all talk to each other. I know, I heard from the grapevine that after we left, they try to move us out of there and get rid of all the bad stuff that happened. As far as the facilities and stuff. Not gonna name any names, but I mean, some of the coaches didn't want us around, so
Yeah.
we kind of have to bridge the gap with the B association just to try to get our foot in the door. And I know a bunch of players when I was there that came before me got to be on the field during the games, but then when the new coaching staff rolled in, they was like no ex players on the field and stuff like that. So how do you want us to you know keep in touch and keep connected with the program if you don't want any of that to happen?
Yeah, and is that something that kind of unifies you guys as players on those teams? Is that something you guys bond over? I mean, not the best way to do it. You had a bond anyway, but just of like,
Right, right.
what is going on? When is this madness going to stop?
Yeah, we're just waiting for our time. Like I said on Twitter, a bunch of people don't want to speak up about it. It's fine. I'll do as much as I can, but I know it's other players out there, thinking the same thing. So
Yeah,
hopefully it'll change. Hopefully more people have voiced their opinion. Obviously the fans have done their job. Now it's kind of on us.
for sure. And obviously 10-year reunion, that's a great round number. It's a perfect opportunity for it. But did you guys think that, you'd be invited back at some point before this?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like you want to celebrate the rich history that's brought a program to what it is now. So I mean, if it's not this year, are they gonna wait till next year and do it? Like 'cause we went back to back. So
Yeah.
so which one is it? But I think it should start. It should have started from this year, and we should have got a notice of this way before the season started.
For sure, and I know that would have got the place fired up Saturday too, and I hope it's a great atmosphere. I hope it's a great
A-
game. Um,
Absolutely.
Baylor's the dog in that one, which I know you guys remember from your
Oh
time.
yeah.
You guys changed that narrative for sure. But hey, if you're looking for an underdog this weekend, the place you got to go is FanDuel Sportsbook, which is another sponsor of today's show. FanDuel is the place to go. New customers right now are getting $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. So that's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. So if you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's really no better time to get into the action than right now. With football season in full swing, we're about to head into MLB playoffs. The app is so easy to use. Even I can do it. There's a wide range of those options. You can do anything from spreads to props, over-unders, any of that. So go to FanDuel.com, use the promo code Locked On. So FanDuel.com/Locked On and keep the kickoff going for this NFL, for this college football, for this MLB baseball playoffs. Visit FanDuel.com, include money lines, props, etc., and all of that going in with FanDuel, official partner of the NFL. All right, Jay. So we're looking. I promised we were going to get to it. Now we're here. We've got UT this weekend.
Oh
I just
yeah.
want you to take us back from your perspective, what that last game at Floyd Casey was like, the 30-10 win over Texas to win the 2013 Big 12 championship. Obviously, I said in the show the other day, you guys had to wait for OU to win against Oklahoma State. That's what kind of
Right.
opened the door. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
start there. Did you guys know about that when you were taking the field?
Yeah. I mean, we all got our phones and stuff. Everybody's listening to music. It's right there in front of us. We go out and warm up. You want to change a song, you might get a notification, or somebody from the outside might text you and let you know. So we were already locked in, but we knew we had to, go out there and do one job, and that was to win. Take care of our business first, and everything else will fall into place.
Yeah, and let's take it back again. It's about 20 degrees outside. Y'all got these
Cold.
awesome throwback uniforms on.
Throwback
You know it's the
uniforms,
last game
yes.
there. It's Texas. Where does that rank in terms of the games that you played in at Baylor?
I mean, it has to go up there, top five for sure. Definitely top five because, we came out in throwback jerseys. They were sweet. Nike
Oh,
did a
so
good job
good.
with those. Freezing cold game. They actually opened up the end zone for the first time,
Mhm.
to close out the case. And, everybody was there. Just leading up to the whole week, it was everything. We just couldn't wait to play them and, take care of business.
And you talked about it earlier, kind of the momentum that was built up, right? From the Texas Bowl to the Alamo Bowl, the Holiday Bowl, and going into this 2013 season, you guys were not ranked to start the season, and you walk out as Big 12 champions and a New Year's Six Bowl. So I guess my question is, did y'all see that coming before the season?
I mean, I think everybody goes into a season, with high hopes. They want to go undefeated. Sometimes it might not happen. I know we went on a run for like 8 or 9. We went what? We went 9 straight.
Yeah, I think that was
Yeah,
it.
and
I
then
don't
we
know.
lost to
Yeah,
Oklahoma State. That was a game that was 20 below.
yeah.
So we had high expectations. We were on a roll. We just try to win each week and one play at a time. But like I said, the expectations were high. We just knew we had a great team to at least compete. So that's what
And
we
look,
want to put that finished product out on the field every week.
and you did for sure. And you're a Texas kid. Most of the guys who play for Baylor are. What does this rivalry mean? I know it's not Texas Oklahoma, but
Right.
Baylor and Texas. What does that game mean to you just in general?
Well, I think any game that's played in the state of Texas with other Texas universities, mean a lot because those are the teams that you want to beat. You want to win the state of Texas. That was one of our goals was to win the state of Texas first, win on the road, win at home, and then take care of everything else. So
And,
that game is a big rivalry for us.
and did that mean a little extra that you guys got to win that Big 12 championship to do it over them? Because remember, if Texas had won, they would have won the Big 12. So it was a
Right.
championship game. So did it mean a little extra to beat
Oh yeah,
them?
it meant a lot. It meant a lot, and because like you said, if they would have beat us, then they could have squeezed in. But like I said, we got to take care of business, and we wanted to boot them off our field, celebrate with the fans. We knew it was our last time playing at Floyd Casey, so we wanted to close it out the right way.
And speaking of last time, it looks like that's going to be the last time that we play UT for a long time anyway. So
Right.
is it sad to see that go as someone who is from the state of Texas to not have A&M or UT on the schedule anymore?
Yeah, it does, and I can recall my freshman year playing at A&M. Well, I didn't play, but I
Yeah.
was a redshirt freshman, and I got to travel with the team. So I remember playing A&M there, when Robert was there this Heisman year, and like playing Texas, and now like they're not even gonna be in anymore. And
It's
like it
crazy.
doesn't
It's
even
just
feel
it's
right.
crazy.
And like all
Yeah.
the teams are shifting. And I know when they dropped the schedule, I'm like, dang, we don't even get to play Oklahoma State no more. Like
Yeah.
some of those
No
games are
you.
like big to us because
Yeah.
that's how the league started.
For sure. For sure. And now back to the present day here. You have any predictions for tomorrow's game?
I think we edge it out.
All right.
I think we edge it out.
All
I got
right.
faith in the boys. I got faith in the boys. Ball
Jay Lee,
security and ball control,
Baylor
and
to the
play
core,
defense.
man.
Oh
Baylor to
yeah,
be God.
I got to
He's
ride for
got
my
it, man.
guys.
Yes, Baylor gang or die. He's got the upset going. I love that confidence. I'm telling you, I'm starting to come around to it. I was very pessimistic early in the week. I think there's some things that Baylor can do. I think Dave has got a plan. I'm
Yeah.
still believing in him.
Yeah, I think he got a plan too. I wish we would have edged out Utah.
That
I
would have been
wish we would
nice.
have edged out Utah. I was hoping. Oh man, had me on the edge of my seat. But I think we got this one under control.
And it could totally turn around their season. It could happen
It
tomorrow night.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Jay Lee, thank you so much for coming on today. Really appreciate you taking the time. Appreciate your perspective. You know, there's a lot of kids who are in the stands now who, for better or for worse, don't know about the scandal or the Art Briles era, but there's a lot of good in there that they don't know about on the football field. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
I appreciate you reaching out and having me on, man. It means a lot.
Awesome. Sick'em Bears. Thank you, man. And
Yes,
thank
sir.
you guys
Sick'em.
for listening and watching on YouTube, making it your first listen every day. This has been, always will be, Locked On Baylor.
DGOB.
You are Locked On Baylor, your daily podcast on the Baylor Bears, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.